about that? And welcome once again to Championship Wrestling from Georgia. I'm Gordon Soley, your host. And what a tremendous crowd we have here at the fantastic WTBS Sports Arena. We've got a lot of great matches upcoming. Let me bring in Ole Anderson because, well, we're seeing wrestlers today from all over the United States.
We sure are. We've got a lot of important matches to see, and we've got some important people to talk to, so I'm going to let you introduce some of them, and I'll get out of the picture, and I'll be back with you.
Okay, Ole, fair enough. Talking to the president of the NWA, Bob Geigel. Right now, I'd like to bring in the second vice president of the National Wrestling Alliance, also an outstanding promoter of years and years and years in the state of Georgia, Mr. Fred Ward. Fred, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Gordon. It's certainly nice to be here. And I want to say hello to everyone down in Albany and Macon and Columbus.
All right. Albany, Macon, and Columbus, and that's where Fred Ward has things going. And now, let me bring in the president of the National Wrestling Alliance, a gentleman who is revered by professional wrestlers all over this world, Bob Geigel. Bob, welcome aboard, sir.
It's a real pleasure for me to be here. Championship Wrestling from Georgia and the National Wrestling Alliance have gone hand in hand, bringing the greatest wrestling stars in the world right here, and I know we're going to continue to do so in the future.
No question about that, Bob. And you know something, too? We're going to see something today that's really a treat. The only man in the history of the NWA to have held that championship on 7 different occasions, Harley Race.
That's right, a fantastic athlete, a great wrestler.
What is going on in the great Midwest? What's happening up in Kansas City and St. Louis and that area, Bob?
Super wrestling card coming to the Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, Missouri on Sunday, September 16th. And then Kemper Arena, another big super card set for October 6th on a Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, the Kemper. That is going to be something.
That's right.
All right, Bob, I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of other things to talk about during the program. So if you'll come back and join me a little bit later on, we'll get into some things that concern us right here.
Fabulous. A pleasure, Gordon.
Okay, Bob Geigel, the president of the NWA. We have our first match coming up right now, so let's go to the squared circle. Time, a gentleman who certainly needs no introduction to wrestling fans the world over. He is from Melrose, Minnesota, the turkey capital of the world, Paul Ellering.
Listen, Gordon Soley, you don't have to compliment me. My mirror does all my complimenting for me. I'm out here to talk about a situation. Let's talk about all great athletes the world over. You can be defeated in 2 ways. 1 by a force greater than you are, and 2 from within. Take note, Armstrongs. I'm here to state here too, and forthwith, that the Armstrongs don't have what it takes for a great athlete to be a great athlete. When it comes time to dig down into what it takes for a man to be a man, they don't have the gut spot to do it, whether it be Brad or Dad. Do you hear me, Gordon?
I hear you quite well, Mr. Dibiase. It
I hear
appears...
you, precious Paul. You know, Gordon Soley, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And to verify what precious Paul just said, I've got 2 pictures here. I've got Bob Armstrong before and Bob Armstrong after a certain Mack truck by the name of Ted Dibiase hit him. Now, I've been hearing for months now, Bob Armstrong is going to get even for what happened to him at the hands of Ted Dibiase. He has sent videotape replays. He has sent messages. He has sent announcements. But he has never come in person to face me face to face and say, Ted Dibiase, I'm going to get even. Bob Armstrong, you've got a yellow streak down your back just like your son. Where are you, Armstrong? I'm right here. I'm right here if you want me anytime.
Thank you very much, precious Paul Ellering and Ted Dibiase. We'll be back. One fall, 10-minute time limit now, and it was Tully Blanchard, the NWA television champion, going up against Dale Veasey, and Veasey was ready for action. Blanchard, who is a psychological warrior as well as a fine physical warrior. Blanchard very quickly with a wing over. Blanchard out of the University of West Texas. He was their quarterback. In fact, they defeated my alma mater his last year in school, the University of Tampa. West Texas State has turned out a bunch of great athletes. Talking about Dory Funk, Jr., Terry Funk. Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard. University of Tampa's turned out some pretty good ones, too. A series of reversals here. And it's Blanchard backing away. Blanchard having his problems. Dale Veasey in the dark blue trunks, Blanchard in the black trunks. Veasey, who we mentioned before, almost had his career cut short when he was critically injured in an automobile wreck. He's had a long comeback period, but boy, he's in condition now. Blanchard, however, is a thinking man's wrestler, no question about that. He's a man with great skill, great ability, and in many ways a completely devious mind. I was talking to my good friend Rick Lassiter, does our floor directing and camera occasionally, and he mentioned to me that Blanchard undoubtedly is one of the most devious competitors he's ever seen in action. All right, Blanchard gets this man down now, rear chin lock. Bob Geigel, the president of the NWA, is with me now watching Blanchard. Of course, Blanchard, the NWA television champion. He is not the most popular champion in the world.
You might not like his style, but he's a very talented athlete.
No question about that. As I was saying earlier, of course, he's out of West Texas State. We've had a lot of great athletes out of West Texas.
I was just going to ask, since we've got Bob Geigel here, president of NWA, we see the NWA television title champion up there. I wonder if it'd be possible at some point we might try to get the national title, national TV champion, Ron Garvin, signed to the match with the NWA champion and see who the better TV champion is.
I think it'd be fantastic, and I'd sure sanction that.
Would, obviously, a match of that import probably would have an elongate. Beautiful drop kick by Veasey. Put Blanchard down, and Blanchard leaves the ring. Blanchard left the ring. Bob, let me ask you, on a match of that kind, what would you think? One fall 30, one fall 1 hour?
No, I would think, for me personally, I would say sudden death, one fall, no time limit.
Whoa, brother, what a match that would be on television.
That captures attention.
Well, yeah. You got mine in a hurry. We might have 3 weeks of television done in one stretch, because I know Blanchard's longevity and I know Garvin's longevity, and those two fellows can go.
When you're talking about people like Garvin and Blanchard, you're talking about tremendous athletes.
There's certainly no question about that. I'll tell you what, though, this young Dale Veasey is certainly acquitting himself extremely well against Blanchard. Veasey, as you know, when I sent you the medical report on him after he'd recovered from his automobile wreck, appears to be back 110%.
Yes, he looks great. His reaction is real good tonight. He's snapping. He's really looking good tonight.
He is indeed. Tully Blanchard now utilizing the ring rope as an ally, and Veasey was one up on him on that one and just pulled him off the ropes. And so Mr. Blanchard has got his own, a good move by Blanchard, though, back to his midsection. And, of course, one thing for sure, you can't get pinned if you're on your stomach.
That's right. That's right. They're moving all the time.
All right, Dale Veasey now watching his man carefully, keeps him tied up with that arm bar. Referee is Nick Patrick. He said, of course, this match is one fall, a 10-minute time limit. Boy, the more I think about seeing Garvin and... Ooh! Tremendous chop by Blanchard. Blanchard chops again. And Blanchard now punishing Veasey. Catches him, and that time broke him loose. Blanchard closes in. And it's Veasey driving Blanchard to his knees. That was just brute strength in that case.
It sure was. I was looking for something else. Strength prevailed there.
There's Blanchard back again, and he is indeed a thinking man's wrestler. Catches him with 3 elbows across the chest, and so it is Veasey coming up. Blanchard caught him. Blanchard caught him beautifully in the midsection. Or Veasey caught him, rather, beautifully in the midsection coming off the ropes. Blanchard's got himself some troubles. And it looks to me, Bob, that Blanchard is beginning to pull a little for air.
Yes, he's looking like he could be gasping, but he's a very, very thrifty, sneaky athlete. Don't put him down.
No, you're exactly right. Watching him play quarterback, I saw exactly what you're talking about. 5. Uh-oh, there it is. There it is, and there's the very thing that... There's the very thing that Tully Blanchard is so famous for, or should I say so infamous for, and that using that top rope as the very thing to put his man down and destroy him. And so the unquestioned victor in this match is indeed Tully Blanchard. And to hold that distinction in the entire history of the NWA, Harley Race.
The entire being of wrestling, the only human being. And in Baltimore, I'll guarantee you, Mr. Flair, that it's going to be number 8. I don't care what I've got to do. I don't care how far I've got to go or what it takes. Number 8 is going to be Harley Race's. I am the ultimate thing in wrestling today. I'm going to continue to be until I say that I'm ready not to be. Now, in order to prove that, I've got to get by one individual. Gordon, I don't mean to be out here hollering and shouting, but when I get to thinking about Ric Flair, that's the way it comes out. Flair, you're mine. Guaranteed fact, you're a beaten man the second you walk in the ring. You know it, I know it, and Baltimore is going to find it out.
And a steel cage is going to spell the difference, you feel?
A steel cage is how he stole it, along with a left-handed referee that continually got in the way. That's how I'm taking it back. It'll be right inside this.
Maryland at the Civic Center on Thursday, October 11th. Match time is 8 p.m. The World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship goes on the line. Ric Flair defending against 7-time World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. This match will be in a steel cage. The National Heavyweight Champion Ted Dibiase defends his title against Ron Garvin. And the National Tag Team Champions, the Road Warriors, will defend their titles against Dusty Rhodes and Ole Anderson. There'll be a host of other matches October 11th in Baltimore. The finest athletes I've ever known. It's a pleasure for me to call him not only a friend, but somebody that I admire tremendously. In fact, the matter is I believe he's going to become the first black NWA World Heavyweight Champion in the near future. Let's listen then to these comments from the sensational Tony Atlas.
Look like every time I turn around, I got to go to Atlanta to take care of some business. You know, I left Atlanta a few days back, and I just figured that everything going to be all right. I was talking to Gail Hamilton and Robert Blunt and Fred Cheney. Fred told me, he said, Tony, you're going to have to come on down here, big bro. You got to come down here at TCB. You know, Atlanta, Georgia is a beautiful place, got beautiful people there. And the people there, they love wrestling. They love wrestling to the fullest because wrestling is rough valley and full contact. You know, a whole lot of guys be coming through Atlanta talking about what they're going to do to this person, what they're going to do to that person. Well, all y'all bring yourselves on down. And if you want to start doing something to anybody, start with me because I'm the eligible person. I'm 6'3", 265 pounds. I'm a brick house that will jump all over you, son. I don't learn a new kind of dice called a break dice, and I will break down any time that anybody step foot in that square circle. One thing about Atlanta, Georgia, I know for sure. They love to see some wrestling, and they love to see some Atlas, and Atlas love to see them. So fix me a great big old pot of chitlins, throw some pig feet over in there with some hog maw, and watch me grub and get down in the square circle. Thank you.
I'll guarantee you one thing, he can do it too. With me right now is the senior editor for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Bill Apter. And Bill, first of all, I understand that the Pro Wrestling Illustrated interviews are coming back very shortly.
Yes, pretty soon we're going to be coming down and taping a whole new set of Pro Wrestling Illustrated press conferences. Gordon, I want to tell you also the mail for Ole and Soli has been tremendous. Great to see the two of you back on the air. And remember, whenever the fans are going to the matches and everything, it's the NWA, the #1 wrestling alliance. Baltimore, New York, New Jersey, wherever the NWA is, remember, it's the finest, and go out and support them.
I was talking to a friend of yours the other day, Gary Jester.
Oh,
and,
yes.
Up in Baltimore.
Yes. Gary's got working with the promoters and has got some great matches signed for October 11th. Harley Race, Ric Flair in the cage. Oof, That's going to be a heavy one.
It is indeed. By all means, say hello to Peter for me.
Definitely will.
Okay.
Craig Peters.
Right. Craig Peters will be joining us very, very shortly in the near future as well. Bill Apter, the senior editor for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Now let's go to the ring.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Sal.
One fall, 10-minute time limit. 7 times world heavyweight champion Harley Race moving out against Bob Owens. And I'll tell you what, Bob Owens can't do a thing but learn tonight, or today rather, when he goes up against a man like Harley Race.
Well, there's no question if a person wants experience. I'd say that he's certainly going to get it when he goes against the 7-time world champion Harley Race. Owens is a tough kid. We haven't seen him for a while, and one of his first appearances in the ring for some time, as I mentioned. I think he's going to maybe find out that he might have stayed home and been a little bit better off, because Harley is awfully good.
Well, he is indeed, and of course a deep double underhook now by Race on Owens, and brother, he brought over about 270 pounds, moves into a lateral press. You know, in talking to Harley a little while ago, I was amazed for a man who's been wrestling professionally now for over 18 years, the tremendous intensity that he has.
Well, I'll tell you, Gordon, I think we've talked about it before. There's one thing that you've got to have in wrestling, and that's experience. You've got to have that know-how. It counts for so much. Without it, you can look at some of the younger guys that are stronger, that are bigger. Without that experience and just that ability to stick in there, some of those veterans will really take him to task.
Well, the point is, too, that Race, of course, began his professional career, one of the few that's ever done it, as a teenager, and has now been wrestling over half of his adult life. So, I mean, this man has a tremendous advantage over, well, the average Tim Horner, Dale Veasey, young fellows who got started out in their 20s. This man had 4 or 5 years experience going when they just got started.
You're right. And I'll tell you, that experience counts for it. Race right now is gearing up for one big match that we know of, involving the current national heavyweight champion, National Wrestling Alliance heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. And you can see it. He's really taking it out on Bob Owens.
Well, I would imagine that Harley Race has something else in mind. He knows Flair. He knows that Flair is going to be watching us. He knows he's going to be watching this program. He's showcasing himself, no question about it. He didn't choose Owens. I happen to know that for a fact. Owens asked for the match. And, brother, look at this. He has got this man suspended in a high vertical suplex. There's 265, 270 pounds up in a high vertical suplex. And it is over, my friend. It is all over for one Bob Owens. And so 7 times world heavyweight champion Harley Race walks away from this match having had what I'm going up against Greg Brown and Snake Brown. And, boy, I'll tell you, the Browns are in trouble. The Road Warriors wasting no time at all. The Hawk and the Animal. Look at that press. Look at that press. Look at that muscular definition. The latissimus dorsi, the deltoids, the biceps, the triceps. You name it. These Road Warriors are just... And I'll tell you what, you're looking at guys like Greg Brown and Snake Brown who are in great physical condition, but it is so difficult to match. Just the absolute tremendous condition of these Road Warriors. The Hulk and the Animal, the Hawk rather than the Animal. The Hawk back in there now with a snapmare on Greg Brown. Referee continues to be Nick Patrick, and I'm glad to see him back officiating. Nick took a little time out. There was Bill Apter at ringside. Nick Patrick has a bit of a score to settle with one Bob Roop. Roop decided he was going to manhandle Nick Patrick one night in a wrestling match, and Nick Patrick decided, hey, that's not the way it's going to be. Meantime, these Road Warriors continue to be as awesome and as devastating as I last remember seeing them. Snake Brown in trouble now as he caught one in the midsection and caught one in the top of the head. And Ellering hurtling some comments now to my good friend Ole Anderson.
Well, Ellering's always got a lot to say, and he's certainly going to find himself with his hands filled here very shortly. You know, all of his career, he's always had somebody around him. He's had either Snake, or he's had Dibiase help him, or he's had these two men in the ring, the AWA heavyweight champions, the Road Warriors. Well, I tell you, there comes a time when you've got to separate the people a little bit, and I think that has been accomplished, and I think Ellering is going to find himself in a rather uncomfortable situation, to say the least.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. He will not have anyone around him. He's going to be facing the music all by himself. Meanwhile, Snake Brown in trouble here. And, of course, these Road Warriors, Ole, I'll tell you something. If anything, they're bigger and badder than I've ever seen them.
Well, I'd agree with that. You know, it wasn't long ago I was listening to Paul Ellering when he was going over the list of victories, and he talked about everybody. Threw my name in there, talked about the Funks, talked about going to the Briscoes like a knife, hot knife through butter. Well, you know, they're good. But I think that when we talk about Garvin or the Armstrongs or combination, Jerry Oates, a combination, let's say, of Tim Horner and Brad Armstrong, we saw him first. Remembering that Tim Horner was the one man that did score a victory over the one of the Road Warriors individually, I think there's some people out there that might be able to take them to task.
Well, certainly no question about the fact that in pro wrestling, these men stay in such great condition, in such great shape. On any one given day, it's entirely possible to win or lose. We saw it with a Little Center College a number of years ago with the mighty Notre Dame team, so it can happen everywhere. Snake Brown taking a lot of punishment here. And the referee, Nick Patrick, warning the Hawk. Tag is made now, and the animal moves in. Ooh, brother, you could hear that one connect right to the midsection of Snake Brown. Brown's got a lot of problems now, and the animal catches him with the back of the elbow. He's got to have, what, 22, 23-inch arms?
Every bit of that, 280, 285 pounds. They're big, they're strong, they're merciless. Nobody like them.
Count of three, and it is all over. It is all over. And so the Road Warriors, managed by Precious Paul Ellering, emerge victorious once again.
Wasn't it glorious, Gordon Soley? You know, we're in the season where every politician must run on his record, Gordon Soley. Well, here, we're standing before you right now, presenting our record to all the national audience the world over. We stand before you, the champions of the AWA, the greatest not only of our time, but the greatest of all time, whether it be in Baltimore, Kansas City, Minneapolis, Las Vegas. It don't matter, Gordon Soley. We challenge everybody, especially teams like the Briscoes, who have been nothing, right, Hawk?
Hey, the Briscoes.
Tell 'em.
The Briscoes are out here shooting their mouths off. They got big mouths on little bodies. We beat you with these, and we'll beat you again. Hey, Briscoes, you're nothing, and that goes for anybody. We're the New World AWA champs, and we're going to run the NWA. Nobody beats the Warriors.
Like I said, Gordon Soley, it gives me great pleasure. The greatest of our time, the greatest of all time.
Thank you so very, very much. Here's a very special word right now. Center on Friday, September 21st. Match time is 8:30. In a lights-out match, it'll be Bob Roop against Nick Patrick. $500 to Patrick if he can stay in the ring 5 minutes with Roop. In the main event, an Indian strap match. Ted Dibiase faces Ron Garvin. The fabulous Hollywood Blondes take on Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner. 666, managed by Dr. Ken Ramey, wrestles against the Superstar. It'll be Mr. Ito against Jerry Oates. Crazy Luke Graham wrestles against Luther. That's Friday, the 21st.
This one, I've never backed up from any man, not like any Armstrong. Now, Brad Armstrong, if you're any kind of a man, I'm ready. I'll take you on right now. That shows you what kind of man the Precious One's made of. The quintessence of wrestling. Let's go, Armstrong. Let's see what kind of guts you
Well, Precious Paul Ellering going into the ring and saying, let's go for it, and let's go for it right now. I'll tell you what, he is an impressive individual. Precious Paul Ellering, who has, you know, in his lifetime won many weightlifting championships, many wrestling championships. He was the national weightlifting champion. But Brad Armstrong has entered the ring. Wait a minute. Ted Dibiase sandbagging from the rear. And now you've got Precious Paul Ellering and Ted Dibiase both after Brad Armstrong, and we've got some problems here. Hold on a minute. Ron Garvin, the man with hands of stone, has entered the fray. And now, wait, there's Bob Roop. Brad Armstrong knocked from the ring. Ron Garvin in trouble. And just a minute. Ted Dibiase putting the belt. And, whoa! Bullet Bob Armstrong. Bullet Bob Armstrong just hit the fray. And it's Bullet Bob Armstrong taking a piece of hide from one Ted Dibiase. Dibiase trying desperately to get away. And they continue to pummel him. And, well, here's a commercial word. We'll be right back. Baltimore, Maryland at the Civic Center on Thursday, October 11th. Match time is 8 p.m. The World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship goes on the line. Ric Flair defending against 7-time World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race. This match will be in a steel cage. The National Heavyweight Champion Ted Dibiase defends his title against Ron Garvin. And the National Tag Team Champions, the Road Warriors, will defend their titles against Dusty Rhodes and Ole Anderson. There will be a host of other matches October 11th in Baltimore. Okay, the Hollywood Blondes in the ring now, moving out against Mike Jackson and Jason Walker. One fall with television time remaining. And these Blondes are an impressive pair, there's no question about it. A couple of very dangerous competitors. All right, referee Scrappy McGowan now calling to the break. Scrappy McGowan sharing the officiating duties with Nick Patrick. Got a lot of people asking me about when my book will be out. And I just point out that it's running a little bit behind on publication date, but we're looking for about 30 days. Check with your local bookstore. Or your Todd Mead catalog. Jackson with a beautiful drop kick. Jackson, a fiery-tempered competitor. And I do mean fiery-tempered. Okay, they square off once again. Full arm drag and twist now. And so Jason Walker punishing his man. And now it's Mike Jackson tagging it. I might point out, by the way, that these Hollywood Blondes can be dangerous indeed. Remember, this is one fall with television time remaining. These Hollywood Blondes have done a lot in bodybuilding, weightlifting. And it is a gentleman who prefers not to use his name, although he is certainly well known by everybody in the United States, who's tagged up here with the other Hollywood Blonde. A disappointing story there in family philosophy,
Well, he refers himself now as the Golden Boy, and I was just thinking what a contrast in style. We looked at the Road Warriors and they're all brute strength. We look at these men, the Hollywood Blondes, the Hustler Rick Rogers and the Golden Boy, and you see great teamwork. You see really good wrestling ability, great wrestling ability, and they're very, very quick. They're very, very aggressive, and the contrast in style to me is very interesting.
It is indeed. Good kip up by Hollywood Blonde, and he makes the tag. Rip Rogers. Rogers, by the way, is quite a bodybuilder. He was a former Central Mr. America. And you can tell by his physical condition that he spent a lot of time with the weights. Good chop into the throat of Jason Walker. Once again, Scrappy McGowan checking to see. And there is their manager and personal valet. One into the midsection, and Walker's got some problems now. Tell you what, Mr. Dibiase got a surprise a few minutes ago when Bullet Bob Armstrong appeared on the scene.
Well, he was wondering where he was at, and certainly Bob let him know. I think that we're going to find ourselves in a rather exciting situation. Interesting one to find out what's going to happen with Armstrong Dibiase. And, of course, I'm looking to wipe that smile off Ellering's face, and I think Brad's the guy that can do it.
Yeah, I certainly have to agree with that, particularly if he's not surrounded by a bunch of his cronies. And you can hear the crowd here at the WTBS Sports Arena picking up the chant. Mike Jackson reaching out vainly to tag with Jason Walker. And Hollywood Blonde, the Golden Boy, disdainfully pushes him to one side, makes the tag with Rogers. Up on that second rope. Double-barrel club into the middle of the back. And so, the Hollywood Blondes are beginning to completely dominate the situation. Only moments remaining, and Walker caught again. Again, the tag is made with the Golden Boy. The Golden Boy. Let me tell you something. Now, Ronnie Garvin and Jerry Oates, of course, are the national tag team champions. Two of the finest gentlemen that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And it really is a sad thing to see a family split like the Oates family has been split. And this man, Ted Oates, can say what he wants to about being the Golden Boy, being the Hollywood Blonde. He has certainly caused his family a lot of grief. Mike Jackson complaining about the tactics of the Blondes, and not without justification. Jason Walker dropped to the canvas again, and that one may have busted a lip. Again, the tag is made. The Golden Boy moves in. Walker drove a knee. He outgunned him that time, but it paid his price. He paid his price, but he did outgun him. Tag is made. Mike Jackson moves in. Jackson may have a shot here. Jackson may have a good chance. He catches Rogers, catches the Golden Boy once again. Jackson, beautiful cross body block by Mike Jackson. He may have him. 1, 2. No, sir, Jackson again, a beautiful drop kick. Snapmare by Mike Jackson. And again, the tag is made, and Jackson was set and ready for him as he comes in. Makes the tag with Jason Walker. Jason Walker moves in, and Rip Rogers is right on top of it. Rogers using that elbow very effectively. Rogers in the pink. has Jason Walker in trouble. Irish whip off the ropes. Walker reverses it. Rogers catches him a boot over the heart. Again, the tag is made. The Golden Boy moves in. Double teaming him on a supple, and that may be all she wrote for Walker right now. But now we go to school with it. There it is, an inverted neck breaker into a float over and lateral press. It is all over. It is all over for Jason Walker and Mike Jackson, the winning team, the Hollywood Blondes. And we just have seconds remaining. And I don't know if we'll get a chance to have a word or two with the Blondes or not. Gentlemen, our time is just about completely gone. Any closing comment?
There's no competition for the Hollywood Blondes. You look at the Golden Boy, the Hustler, with her personal valet, Miss Brenda Britton. And I don't care who it is, whether it's Garvin, Brad Armstrong, Horner, Ole Anderson, anybody, come on down and face it.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. Until next week, then, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Peach State of Georgia.